Welcome back to another episode of Rooming Waterfowl. I'm your host, Troy Moore, and with me, as always, is my other host, Blake Horton. This will be episode 31, just going to be the two of us tonight. Before we get started, we'll just kind of run through a little spiel of what's going on, Blake.
No, not a whole lot, man. Just finally home for an episode, it feels like.
Yeah, we got a little chaos going on in the background. So just a heads up, Blake has a fire. Yeah, I guess I'll let you tell him.
About
The fire?
which one?
Going on right now.
Oh,
Okay,
we got a big old fire out here in Louisiana. It's kind of on the border of our fences where our cattle are, so
So if he has to get up and go, I'll lump us along to the end, but hopefully not. We'll be praying for the outcome to be on the better side for you. Real quick before we get started, just want to shout out our partners. So Blake got in some new big river ammunition. You want to tell them about that, Blake?
man. I
You haven't
got
got a chance to shoot it yet, have you?
Huh?
You haven't got a chance to shoot it yet, have you?
I haven't. Nope. Number 5 and number 6s. So
Ooh,
3-inch. This is what he calls the working man. It's copper plated steel. It's pretty much made for duck hunters, I would say. It's made for the people that want the turkeys pretty much in their face. I mean,
yeah.
I made a post about it, and that's the same thing I said. This is for the guys that want the birds in their face and ready to smack them pretty close. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm ready to shoot one with them.
Yeah, I'm ready to see what it does on paper for you. Everything I've
Yeah.
seen of his. We need to go and get a hold of him and see if anything's changed with all the stuff going on with the talks of all the ammo. Get his take. You just talk to him, kind of get his take on it. I'd like to hear from him from a small business on the ammo side of it. But anyone looking to get some turkey loads with turkey season starting and coming up, go over and check out Big River Ammunition and use code WINIT. And if you spend $100 more, you can get free shipping. So make sure and check out Ryan. He's a good dude. If you haven't heard our episode with him, make sure and go listen to it. And then I'm excited let's say Thursday. So in 2 days, I have a new package coming from Dylan over at TFS. I ordered his new furniture that he had laser engraved. So I'm pretty excited about that. Everything, I finally have it out for once. So this is that biothane collar, and he can do different colors for handles and stuff like that. Or sorry, this is the leash that goes to the collar. And it's kind of hard to see in this light, but this is a really nice teal color that I got. Me and Cody from Triple B were talking. He had a real nice collar from Dylan over at TFS as well, and his pup lost it the other day, and so we had the conversation about I talked to Dylan and I said, hey, I want bright color, and he custom ordered that, and so he got that color available, I believe. So if you y'all want to get any of that, just let him know. And he's also running any of his handmade stuff, Biothane, Cableworks, any of that stuff. TFS Cableworks. Use code WINGIT20, and you will get 20% off any of his handmade goods. So like the furniture, any of that stuff, caps, shirts, stuff like that, it doesn't apply. But any of his handmade goods, you're going to get 20% off. And I've also let him know we heard from him, so that helps us out, helps him out. And then over at we got the I'm losing the train of thought here. We've got the lanyards. If you'll go give them a call or go check them out, any of his in stock lanyards. Ty has those for Best Bull Falco. If you use one at 10, you get 10% off any of his in stock ones. And he has a ton. And like he was saying to me, when he made this one, he was kind of just getting started. And I went and looked, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on. He's got leather, he's got cables, he's got the paracord, he's got all kinds of different stuff, different drops. I mean, you can he's got a lot of stuff that's basically custom, and it's all handmade. It's basically custom that you could find on his website. Anything he has in stock there, and if you don't find one you like on there, get a hold of him. He'll do it pretty much any way, any color, any material you want. So make sure you go check all those guys out.
Yeah, he's I talked to him the other day and he was wanting to get back on and kinda go over the stuff that he's got going now. He's excited, like, I watched one of his lives on TikTok and he's building some cool stuff.
Yeah, but I think this week, apologize, we were supposed to have a guest and had some issues, and that didn't work out. But that's showbiz, baby. It's pretty
Yeah.
fun. So one thing we thought we'd kind of discuss, and a lot of people have asked us about before, is we take a big trip every year. It's kind of our thing we do. We've always done it. We've discussed that before. We've been doing it since we were kids. Now, what we do on that big trip every year has changed and transformed from,
Yeah.
going to the lake or going snow skiing, snowboard, and stuff like that. And so now we do hunting. And when I tell you what, it's a lot more goes into it. And so we're going to kind of go through and let y'all know what it is that we're looking at and doing, because right now is the time that we're getting ready for our trip. And so we're just going to kind of jump off of that, let you know what it is we're looking at, what we're doing, what we're trying to do to decide. So this year's a little different because we have a basic idea of where we're going. Since we decided, I think we've kind of come to a consensus that we want to go to Nebraska at least one more time. So we're going to do it this year.
Yeah.
We learned lessons from last year. So that's one route that a lot of discussion that you and Addison have gone into was, do we go back and do Nebraska again? So let's just kind of run through what our pros and cons were to that on your end.
Man, I don't know. We talked about going to several different places. I think one of the easiest things I could say is, I mean, we don't we we don't really get to scout like other people do. I mean, now that we know people, we can make phone calls. Usually, I mean, we do what I mean, the winging it. We wing it till we make it and make it work for us. I
Mm-hmm.
think one of my biggest things about going back to Nebraska this year was just we kind of know the territory. We know what to expect to a point. It is a very decent big state. It's not like Kansas. I mean, not saying nothing against Kansas, because I would love to go hunt Kansas one year or go hunt a bunch of the lakes at Oklahoma. But going back to the whole like Kansas thing, if they pass the new law that everybody's talking about, they're going to be, you can only, and I don't quote me, I don't know 100%. I just heard speculations of like, you can buy a license, but you can only hunt 5 days straight, or maybe it's 2 weeks straight or something like that. And then you got to take a break and you got to go to a different part of the state and you got to buy a whole nother out of state license or in state. Yeah, for the out of state, buy a whole another out of state license. So that's just going to cost you another, say, 150, 170. I don't know how much their out of state is. Or
Yeah.
Nebraska, I mean, if we had a wild hair one day and we were like, and somebody called us, or say Tyler called us, he's like, hey, man, we are loaded. It's the end of January. If y'all could catch a flight up here, we could be on, you could shoot a lot of birds in a couple of days if y'all can make it. And the hunting license is good for a year. It's not good for,
So
that's
yeah,
one of the biggest things.
Nebraska, the cost of an out of state license is, we get it for the entire season, for the whole year, is comparable to what we paid for a week long pass or 10-day, whatever it was in Arkansas. Same price. Yeah. And same thing with Kansas and some other states. So that is one thing that we look at is, bang for our buck kind of deal. And Nebraska was one that we got, we got told, hey, put this into consideration, when we were talking about where we want to go next, what we want to do. So that is definitely one big thing that we look at because we're family men, we work a 9 to 5 kind of deal. You know, this is a hobby, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, but money is a factor for us because I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to go to some of these places, but where we're at this point in our life, we're trying to make the most without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and
Nebraska, that is one appeal to Nebraska.
I mean, the bad thing is, like, I wish we had maybe later on in our life, but right now we get a plan. I mean, here it is March, and we've been talking about this throughout
Since
half the month
Nebraska,
already. Yeah, I mean, we throw around ideas and figure out what we want to do, but I mean, come first of March, we're pretty much setting stuff in stone, and we're asking for time off. And
yeah,
I mean, it's March, and we're asking for time off in December, but that's because of our jobs, and we have to. So, I think one of the biggest things when you do travel, if you have jobs like us or can't just leave at a drop of a hat, is go ahead and go in there and kind of do your research on what your biggest outcome is for what you want to do, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, find a state that you can go do a lot of stuff. Like, we pheasant hunt. We on when we get done duck hunting in the mornings. And I think that's one of my biggest going back to Nebraska is, yeah, I like going back and sitting around camp and enjoying the guys and all that. But I feel like we had a lot more fun time. I mean, yeah, we had Roscoe, so it's gonna be good time no matter what. But we had a great time past going to duck hunt. We got to go home and rest or do whatever we want to do, and then come 2 o'clock, we're still getting to go hunt a whole
yeah.
different kind of species and have a great time together and still laugh and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, what does, some people, when they go on these, some people may want to relax. Now, fit it to your needs and your desires. But yeah, that definitely is a big selling point for us is it was getting the opportunity to go home, rest for a few hours, get some lunch, clean up, clean birds, get, everything put away and get our stuff kind of packed back away and ready for the next day and make our plan is kind of what we did during the day. And then we're like, okay, now we're going to go over here and we're going to do some fence hunting and then come back and we do it all over again, get ready for the next day. But yeah, I will say one of the big pros that we had for Nebraska for us for deciding that's what we're going to go ahead and do is that this does take a lot of work to go out of state and we want to make sure, and we're not, we have our hits and we have our misses. I mean, it's hunting. If you go out of state somewhere you've never been and you get at least one good day, I call it a success. And
Yeah,
anything
I
on
mean,
top of that's just the cherry on top. But I mean, with this, there's not going to be near as much legwork for us in e-scouting, in driving. We've got connections now that we will have from last year and that we can compound on. And we have, a little bit of lessons learned from that. So we're not going in cold turkey completely again. Um, One major thing we're doing is going later in the year, trying to take that weather. I mean, weather's always going to be a factor, but we're trying to push it a little bit further back, learn from migration this year and how the birds acted, how the weather acted, and we're going to try to push it back a little bit further. And a lot of it's, lining up with our life and our schedule and stuff like that because you got 3 different people doing 3 different jobs in 3 different places. It's always going to be difficult. Well, I guess 4,
yeah,
but I mean, 3 different groups, you know, well, different places, different jobs. Trying to line that up is a difficult part. So, but the weather was one of the major things that we learned is that we think going a little bit later in the year from what we did will help us. The weather's going to fluctuate, of course. You can't depend on the weather to do exactly what you want it to do, but we think we're hedging our bets that the weather's going to be a little bit more stable and more we can target birds a little bit easier and figure out what they're going to do compared to what we learned from last year.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that was one of our biggest things. I think was last year was
Well, we thought we were going to do a lot of,
we had a bunch of good days,
yeah,
but when it warmed up, the birds left, and then it
yeah.
stayed warm.
We
So
went from broken ice to 80 degrees.
yeah, so I mean, we could have chased the birds. We could have probably went more north or more south or more. We could have went somewhere other places,
Uh-huh.
and we did to a point. I mean, we went to the west side of the state for a day, but still, it's an easy state to hunt. I don't. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think it's an easy state to hunt, but it's an easy place to
It
go
is a,
publicly.
yeah, it is a public friendly
Yes.
state as
Yeah.
far as, resources available to public hunters.
Yeah. There's a
Also,
lot of open public spots compared to some other states. I mean, you
yeah,
take some of these.
plentiful. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like, hey, here's 10,000 acres. Some of them were just what, like 30, 40 acres. Some of them were a couple hundred acres. Some of them are a whole
Yeah.
section. You got to do, and with that, there's a lot of research and legwork we put in. We got some inside tips, but no one gave us spots, and it's one of those deals you got to work and find those spots. But these guys like just pointed us in the general area, said go to this area of the state and hunt.
Yeah.
And we did the legwork. I mean, that's one thing I want to track this year. We need to figure out how many miles we put on. I mean, because we just the windshield time alone while we were up there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there was very little downtime. I think we only had 2 days where we like legit laid around and got a nap for a couple hours. Like the rest
Yeah.
of the time, we were doing either spending 2, 3 hours after we're done hunting scouting, or we're going home and getting something ready for the next hunt.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I'd say,
that's that's part of your public land hunt too. You're gonna have
oh
to
yeah, yeah,
chase
I'm
and
not
you're gonna have
complaining
to
about
work. But it's just Nebraska is a very public friendly place, but they make you work for it.
it. Yeah, it's a lot of
And
windshield
I
time.
mean, and don't just focus on the public side of everything. If you find a feed, don't be scared to go ask for permission. I mean, you never know. We talked to that guy for what, almost 2 hours before he finally said, "Okay, I'll meet y'all." I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
like I was about to give up on it.
and we were. I
Um,
mean, we had to
just
run
put,
back because we were what 10 miles away from where we started there
yeah,
when he called us. I mean,
yeah, and then we did, and it paid off. I mean, we got probably 10,000 acres of permission.
yeah,
I mean, and some of it was good duck hunting, but a lot of it was pheasant hunting that we were not expecting. Like we were expecting to ditch hunt a lot,
yeah,
and public hunt them on like waterfowl land. But ended up we got some really awesome places to go hunt pheasants, so it did work out.
yeah,
And then also another thing about Nebraska is that we did learn from last year that yes, you can walk into a lot of these spots, but these little boats, are going to open up so much more that was not accessible to us last year that we wanted to do. Mainly the Platte River, um, and then also some of these public land little marshes. There's some really good areas that you cannot walk into.
yeah. I mean, we went to that one and it was loaded with ducks, but
Um,
I mean, you were up to your belly button to top of your waders before you could get close to the birds because they want to sit out in the middle. I think one of my
yeah,
biggest takeaways from Nebraska last year was if you're unsure of an area and you don't know and you can afford or you have a kayak or a layout boat or something to that factor, don't be scared to throw it in and take it with you. And
yeah,
that's anywhere we go. You go. I mean, we might get up to Nebraska and it might be froze over and we might have to go find some big lakes. I mean, but we're taking the beaver tails now, so we won't be that worried about it.
Yeah, yeah, those beaver tails are gonna open up a lot for us of stuff that we looked at that was inaccessible to us last year. Like we had Addison
Yeah.
almost convinced to go buy John boat from Facebook Marketplace and then return it.
We almost
Yeah,
did.
almost got very close. Yeah, we're gonna look. I think we're gonna look in a lot of the same area. Like we haven't got exactly nailed down where we're going. But that's one major part of going into an out of state is looking at what's accessible because we have learned from prior experience that if you put all your eggs in one little basket of an area, be like, okay, we're going to go to this one single area and hope that there's birds there. It does not turn out well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Arkansas, yeah, we learned a lot from Arkansas of how much research needs to go into it beforehand
Yeah.
and not just word of mouth of, hey, I heard there were birds here.
And I
Like
think
these,
Arkansas kind of opened our eyes to when we like, hey, we went and hunted a really popular place, and yeah, there were
yes.
birds, but we didn't put the time in to search and find the right stuff. So
Well, we didn't. We also didn't know what we were doing as far as
exactly.
getting there. Like, oh well, you have to be off by noon.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. A lot of that stuff that we didn't think of ahead of time really affected us.
Yep.
So, yeah, when looking at a new place, we put in. I mean, I'd say hundreds of hours between the three of us
Oh
of
yeah.
e-scouting. And if you don't have OnX, I mean, or Hunt Stand, or whatever you use, you need to have something. And we use a shared folder that we name, and we don't share all of our pins with each other, but when we're doing this, we share those pins with each other, and that is so important to have. That was so useful to us is when we divided and conquered for scouting and stuff like that. Is we can be like, name your pins. I will say that, like, name your pins, and it doesn't have to be anything like super specific. Like, the nice thing about Nebraska is a lot of those places are named. Those WMAs are named. And then
Yeah.
we would put our own names that are like, hey, we know this place is called this and stuff like that. And be like, we're going to go scout this place. And some of them, like, they were just some stupid names, but we knew what they were talking about. And we had that shared folder, which made a huge difference in our scouting, in communication, and everything. And we divvied up areas on the e-scouting beforehand for months ahead of time. Like, hey, you look in this area and I'm going to look in this area. And we, went through, we were looking at different state websites, um, not just on X, because there's a lot of stuff. On X is amazing and it's great, but there's a lot of stuff that is very gray if you're not completely familiar, because there's areas where it said you can hunt, but then we found out that you can't. And then there's areas that said you can't hunt, and we found out, oh, but you can.
Yeah.
So you need
And
to
I
get
mean,
very, very familiar with your local and state laws of wherever you're going to go.
yeah. And I mean, Nebraska was good. And there's a bunch of the other states too, because I've looked them up. Do your e-scouting on your water levels. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like to majority, I'd say 95% of the ones, because I went in there and we kind of color coded
Yes.
what was what they said was excellent, what they said was good water, what they said wasn't, and I think we did really good on that. I mean, and they were, I'd say 95% was, most of it was right.
Well, the problem is with the water is not having eyes on it is vegetation. It's always like we talk about. Your hide is always the biggest issue. At least that's the most important part and oftentimes the biggest issue. So that's one
Yeah,
thing. You can scout as much as you want and use those historic maps and stuff like that. But if you have some local knowledge, hey, what when is the what water levels work for this place? Because I mean, yeah, water could be like perfect knee height or whatever you want it to be for puddlers or divers or whatever you're looking for, but you got to have a place to hide.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to walk 700 yards to get to a hide, and that's what happened to us in this year was just yes,
Through
there
ice.
was good hides, but you're walking in knee deep water for 700 yards. One, it frustrates you. You're tired. Your partner's tired. Your dog's tired. So by the time you get there, you're pretty much worn out, and
Yeah,
you're just like, no, I wouldn't say the hunt just isn't the best because I mean, I'll walk a mile and that stuff to shoot good birds, but it's a pain. But also that comes back to if you're going to go out of state and you're not used to it and you don't know what you're getting into, you need to start exercising and get in
that
a
was
state where you f- you feel like you can walk a mile in some water.
yeah, that was a big discussion we had and drove a lot of what we looked at too. Was we're going to be packing in gear, dogs, all this stuff without boats. It's going to be walk-ins on everything we do. And, that was a lot of what we looked at. That's why we didn't even look at the river. We didn't even consider the river just because what we'd been told, what we read, what we seen, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, yeah, make sure where you're going to do that it is attainable for, do some research on, and be aware of what your physical capabilities are.
yeah.
So,
I mean, and you got to be safe. You got to watch you, and you got to watch who you're hunting with and your dog because I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There was a time where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it out of here
yeah.
because it was just we were breaking ice and we were already 600 yards into this walk and still breaking ice. And I look
Yeah,
up and I'm just like, oh, Troy, I don't know what we're gonna do here, but we got a little
that's
bit
what
more.
we just finally put it in. Had you breaking ice and me pulling all the sled and all the gear behind you, just because it was
Yeah,
too much. And you switching out. Once you were
yeah,
with him, we were switching out. And we decided pretty early on. And we will break ice. I'm still pretty fresh. I'll drag all the gear, and so
yeah,
that's what we did. I kept the dog and I kept Wiley back there between us, and then I drug all the gear and we broke the ice and made the trail and followed our markers on the phone because I'm not going to sit there and try to grab the phone and be paying attention. I was head down, just follow you.
yeah,
So, um, I'd say gear is a big one for us as well in deciding, you know, for anyone, when you're deciding where to go, you need to think about what you have that you can, A, what you have, B, what you're going to have room to take and use. When figuring out out of state trips. That's one thing that we went back and forth on because I have kayaks. Addison has a boat. All these things like, is it worth it to take these things? Is it not worth it? No, we decided a boat was not worth it. And looking back, I think we made the right choice, and we're going to make that choice again with a regular, 18-foot boat or whatever Addison's is. I don't remember. But these small boats that we can throw all four of them on a trailer and they function as layouts, those are going to be game changers for us this year. So we will be taking those. But we had layout blinds because we thought we were going to be doing a bunch of goose hunting. Ended up the area we were in, we just didn't have access to anything good, so we didn't really do any goose hunting. Um, but stuff like that, making sure that we're going to have the stuff that's going to make these hunts possible and worth it for us. So I mean, if we didn't have it, we'd probably still consider Nebraska, but we would change up our what we're scouting, what we're looking at, what we're expecting. I would say,
yeah. No, I totally agree.
indeed, yeah, because we don't want to go somewhere if you're not going to have the gear or the means to get to the hunt and waste all
Yeah,
that money, all that time. Are you going to drive? Are you going to fly? For us right now, driving is the only option because we don't want to fly. Because then, I mean, you're just cutting down on so much gear, if any. I mean, basically, you're just going to be able to take clothes and a gun.
yeah,
And so that to us is not worth it. We were looking at places that are accessible within driving distance. And yes, we are driving a long ways. What is it? 14 hours for you?
yeah. I think it's 14 hours.
And
I can't
it's
remember.
18 hours for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's I think that's what drove us back to go to Nebraska this year was just the gear and everything else. I mean, we learned so much last year about we overpacked. We should have brought less
Yes.
decoys. We should have
Hmm.
done a lot of different things. And I think this year going into it, even I mean, even if we get to Nebraska and it's froze over bad, it ain't gonna be nothing for us to pack up and either we'll go head back to Oklahoma or Texas or maybe go to Wyoming or cut down south and hit New Mexico. I mean, just I think having a backup plan is one of your best things when you're going out of state in case you do get there and say we get there and it's been frozen for 2 weeks straight and it ain't gonna unfreeze. At least we have a backup plan.
Yeah, we looked at all kinds of stuff in Kansas and Oklahoma
Yeah.
as contingencies to come back south because we weren't sure, never having been up there, we weren't sure what the weather patterns were going to do. And so we had made contingencies of, hey, if this happens, we pull back, and these are the areas that we're going to look at depending on whether if it does freeze over. And we'll have those same contingencies this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially with us going into later, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Um, even I think even if it does freeze over, I think we'll be fine just because we have the layout boats and we can get on the river on the Platte or we can find a
There's
big
some big
lake.
water not
Yes, we
far
get on
from
some
us.
big water. Because if it's
But
frozen and like the WMA, the small WMAs, that means they're gonna be somewhere else. I mean,
yeah. And then one big thing for us also is getting up into these areas. We are looking at very little opportunity or variety of places to stay that are, because we're hunting with dogs. So
yeah,
pet friendly and somewhere that we're going to have that all of our stuff isn't just sitting out in the truck all day and night at some little hotel or anything like that. Because I mean, we cook. We don't eat out. We cook. We do all of our. We bring all of our own food up ahead. We'll bring all our own meat, buy stuff. Little groceries up there. But that's a big deal. Does it have a kitchen? Does it have a place for the dogs? Is there a place to store our gear and enough room for us? Because we've stayed in a bunkhouse. We've stayed in the tiny house. I mean, the tiny house wasn't bad. One thing about that is I will say making sure who your group is and
yes,
whatnot, because the bunkhouse wasn't bad until it was bad.
yeah,
And when there's no separation, I mean, because it's just one large room with a bathroom and it's bunk beds. I mean, it was a bunk house,
yeah,
and I mean, I wasn't part of that drama, but we had a little bit of drama one night. So I mean, and then the when we go to a tiny house where I mean, there's no room to not be on top of each other. So, I mean, if you're not with the right guys, you need to know, like, hey, if you're someone that's not used to being around people or you're not completely comfortable with people you're with, being on top of each other 24/7 and having no room to yourself may be a problem. You need to think about that.
yeah,
And we searched and searched and searched for a place last year. And I mean, there's just not a lot of options up there for where we wanted to be at without having to drive 3 hours every day.
yeah,
So that is one thing you got to look into is you may find the perfect hunting spot, but there may be nowhere for you to stay. Now, if you're not hunting with a dog and you're not taking a bunch of gear, big gear, like we had a trailer and stuff like that, we had to take that in consideration. It's a little bit easier, but the way we hunt, 4 guys, 2 3 trucks, a trailer, dogs. We had 4 dogs. I mean, that's stuff that we have to really consider and look into. And so that also limits where we're going to go as well. Is if there's nothing available, we're not going to sit there, drive 14 hours, and then have to be somewhere 3 hours away from where we want to be at because we pivoted 2 or 3 times up there on the plan of last minute, like, hey, you know what, we've been planning for this all day, but we're going to do this.
yeah. I mean, and
So,
we changed a lot just because the birds. I mean,
yeah,
there was one that we decided we would pheasant hunt that morning, you'll bird hunt that night just because the birds were moving better in this spot at night than it were that morning.
yeah,
So the scouting's a big thing. I mean, go ahead and do your e-scouts. Go ahead. I think the biggest thing on the e-scouting that, and this is me personally, I find the little bitty ponds. I find the little bit private ponds. I find the stuff like that. You're like, mm, let's see what's gonna happen here. And you drive by and you're like, holy cow, there's 400 birds on this flooded cornfield. I mean, and that's what it was. It was a flooded cornfield. And we sat there and watched it for at least 40 minutes trying to figure out what we want if we got permission, what we wanted to do. And then we finally got a hold of the guy. I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's the don't be scared to talk to somebody and
I think it's 2 days to get that one
yeah,
for him to call back, and then we had to go meet up with him.
yeah.
So,
I mean, don't
I mean,
that's the
we didn't pay for that. We paid a very small amount for what it was. Like it
very
was,
small.
I
I
mean, it
mean,
was nothing like that's. It's just like, hey, we just need a little bit of cash, just to, just so we can say, hey, because they're farmers, and it's their right. And it was a very very small amount of cash
yes.
that we paid to be able to go hunt on that. And he's like, and if you want this, it's yours. I guarantee no one else is going to be coming out here, but you got to tell me what days,
Yeah.
kind of deal. And then the other guy's like, hey, here's 10,000 acres. No one else is going to hunt it. Have free reign whenever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it, whatever you want to do it, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I mean that we got lucky there, but again, you miss 100% of the chances that you don't try. I
Yeah.
mean, it's it's frustrating at times, and it's you kind of get a little scared, like, oh, what's going to happen or what's going on. But in return, you just if you take the chances, it's probably a 50-50 chance. Like either you're going to get it or you're not. But don't get discouraged after you get maybe say you ask like 30 people and 29 of them say no. Well, the 30th one might be yes, and that 30th one might be your money ticket into getting on the birds. So don't,
Yeah.
even though you keep on telling no, 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 don't don't stop asking.
Yeah. And we've got some numbers that we just never even. Oh, that was what I think I had two that I had called, put in calls, voicemails, text messages, and we never heard until the day we were leaving or the day before we left, kind of
Yeah,
deal. So save those numbers, and we're gonna compound on that next year. At least
yeah.
that's the plan.
Well,
Um,
and start early too. Like if you're going
oh,
back to
ahead
a
of time.
different place, I mean, the one that gave us like on the 10,000 acres, well, I mean, we'll be calling and talking to him probably mid July.
Oh, we're bringing some some Cajun food up to them this next year.
Yeah, we should have brought more of that last year, but building those friendships and those trusts really help out too.
Yeah, I will say that is a big one. Just goes with hunter etiquette is don't run it for everyone else. Is if you are going to go out of state and get permission on private land, make sure and treat it right. You know, you know, build those friendships and those relationships and professional, whatever relationship they are. If you're going to be friendly with them, you're going to pay them, whatever. Just make sure make it a good relationship and build on it, and don't ruin that trust and ruin it for future hunters. Because we
Yeah.
did have one or two that told us no because had bad experiences with out of staters
Yep.
before, tore stuff up or left trash or whatever. You're going to get those, and that's just don't be that guy or that gal.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's I don't know. I try not to say too much because I don't want to step on people's toes and make people mad, but it's just part of being respectful. I mean, we both
It is.
own land. Our families own land. I mean, it's just part like if someone asks us to hunt there, and we're like, yeah, we're not gonna be there. You can hunt it. If we show up and they just trash the place, and they'll go back. Well, that ruins it for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not hard just to pick up your shells or pick up your trash. I mean,
Drive where you're supposed to drive. I know that's a big one for a lot of farmers.
yeah,
And ask, like, hey, where would you like me to drive? Where do you want me to park? Where do you want me to stay away from? And that was one thing. about it. You know, they were all super cool. Like some of them were like, stay on this road, park up here. Some of them were like, you know what? If there's not standing crops, wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
So
Man, one guy told me, he's like, if you see a cow out there, you want to run it down. I don't care what you do. Run through that pasture. I was like, I don't think we'll be doing that with our vehicles, but
yeah, we need to take some coyote hunting stuff this next year.
yeah. Yeah.
But another big part for us, like I said, just compounding on that, is that we do all our own cooking. You know, we take all our own food. So looking into that, you know, we've talked about in the future getting like a big wall tent and stuff like that in a fireplace. And that's just something we've decided, you know, right now, no. But that's something we've looked into. But um, food and prep of that is a big deal that you need to get. You need to get that squared away. If you're, I mean, if you want to eat out, sure, go ahead. But I mean, that gets expensive real fast. But you know, we divvy it up like, hey, you're gonna get lunch, dinner these days. I'm gonna get lunch, dinner these days. Breakfast, we just, you know, I don't really eat breakfast much, and you know, stuff like that. We just did like Pop Tarts and jerky and different stuff like that. You know, whatever you want to do. We've done before, where you know, if we have a boat, where you know, I like to cook, so I'll cook in the boat, stuff like that. Um, but that is a big thing I will say for out of state planning is, you know, every little thing counts because once you leave home, you better hope you got it all planned or else you're going to be either out or spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
And neither one is fun.
Yeah.
So we make sure and meal plan everything well in advance, make sure, you know, everyone agrees on it. And that one problem we ran into was, and that's nothing that we could have foreseen, but the grill, we had plans for steaks one night for grilling, and it said it came with a grill. Well, our grill didn't work, so that's one thing to put on the list is next year bring my little stove as a backup, you know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
If we end up staying at that same place, or
Well,
one
and
of
I
those
mean,
charcoal deals would be
yeah,
nice.
that was a good thing is the Airbnb we stayed at, they were very
Yes, they
nice.
saved us on that.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I like the Airbnb deal, but I don't to a point because if we do get up there and it's frozen and we got to move around, you're kind of stuck at that spot. You're stuck at that house, and
Yeah,
that's a hard thing. I mean,
yeah, that's why we've
if you're going by yourself, that's really easy because you can just camp out in your truck.
yeah. That's what
Or
what's
if
his
you're going
name
with
did.
yeah. I mean, if it was just me and you, we would figure something out. I mean, but when you
Yeah,
take a big group, that's
and dogs.
and dogs and a trailer full of decoys and everything else. I mean, I think that would be a good thing next year. Is just we kind of have a plan of, or that this year, not next year. I mean, we learn from the best thing is if you learn from your mistakes every time. I mean,
And setting realistic goals. I mean, if you're a numbers guy, you know, limit dependent hunter, uh, I mean, I just it may not go the way you want it. You need to set realistic expectations because we
but
have spent a lot of money going out of state and not shot but 4 birds a whole week with 24 guys.
on top of that, though, if you're in it and you're wanting to get all the numbers, you better be ready to put the time in and the windshield miles and the wind. I just as much you're gonna put in a lot of scouting in to shoot limits and shoot certain birds if that's what you want to do. Just
Mhm.
have that expectation, like, hey, I'm going up here and I might put an extra 3,000 miles in on top of the 1,000 miles I drove just to shoot a limit of birds every time.
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely one thing that I'll say. You can do a lot more scouting than you think.
Yeah,
However much you think you're going to scout, you're probably going to end up having to scout twice as much. So if you're going out of state, it's not going to be go out, tear them up in the morning, and then come back and drink beer and relax all day at the cabin or the Airbnb or the hotel, wherever you're going. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, but I mean, that's just not how we do it.
yeah,
So, because I mean, we want to get the most out of our little bit of time we have together, where all three of us, all four of us, get together, and also going out of state and on a big trip for us. We're going to get the max payout that we can. Do everything in our power to make sure that we're putting in our work and not just trying to let everything fall in our lap. So,
Yep.
and this is what we're doing. We're right around this time of year. We're trying to. I think we got our dates pretty well nailed down. I've already put in PTO. I think you looked at yours, and Addison's already put in PTO.
Yeah, I gotta wait until at least July, but I put it in.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
nailing down dates. We're fixing to start talking. We're fixing to try to nail down where we're going to stay for sure. We may stay at the same place as last year. We may look at something different.
yeah, and I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm excited about it again. I mean, I think we'll do
Me too.
good this year.
I think it's going to be a lot better because also one big thing about going somewhere we know is we know where not to go. More than we know
Yes.
where to go, we know where not to go.
Yep.
I think is the biggest takeaway from going to somewhere again is like we can be like, hey, that place just looks good on paper, looks good through binoculars, but once you get out there, it's not good at all.
Yep.
So, because there's a couple places that we went on, like, nope, never mind, this sucks. Birds
Yeah.
do not want to be here. There's no hide. There's no food. Whatever it is. So that what I will say is probably one of the biggest takeaways is more than knowing where to go is knowing where not to go.
Yep.
So
Yep, I agree there.
But yeah, if you're looking at doing a trip, if you have any questions, let us know. This is, like I said, we do this every year. This first time we're gonna back to back it to the same spot. So it'd be interesting to see how we do this year. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am
But
too.
there's a lot that goes into a trip. I mean, once you start putting pen to paper and especially stuff like this where we're all apart, there's a lot of coordinating of who's doing what, stuff like that, transportation, logistics, booking stuff. I mean, just everything that goes into this. There's a lot, and I'm, try to cover everything, but, you're never going to. I will say write it down and divvy it up and make sure everyone knows exactly what they're bringing and, everyone's roles.
Yep.
So
I agree.
you're
I
going to
mean,
run into some issues. Just don't let them ruin your hunt. Because, I mean, there's going to be times where someone didn't think, no one thought of this one thing, or someone forgot something. I mean, heck, we forgot a whole dog blind and some other stuff on this one, stuff like that. I mean, it's for some people it's a bigger deal than it is for others, but don't let it ruin your whole trip. Stay fluid. Be willing to make a pivot to do something else.
yep.
Follow the birds. Don't be dead set on, hey, we're going to this spot. And don't get your feelings hurt when we argue. How many times do we argue about where we were going to go the next day?
Oh, I mean, and that goes back to your part of just being with who you're with. Because I mean, day 5 we were all whooped. We weren't shooting very many birds. You're going to get mad at each other about something. It's just part of it. I mean, that's why you gotta have good company with you because we all understood like we're all tired. We're all want to shoot birds. We're not shooting as many birds as we want, but we still had a great time and nobody got their feelings hurt or nothing like that.
No, it was on the up and up, and I'm hoping for the same this year.
Yeah.
Well, I think that kind of covers everything we were looking at for that you can kind of look at from our perspective of what we put into an out of state hunt. And, like I said, there's way more, but that's just kind of a broad sense, and us discussing what we're going to do with going back to the same area again. But without that, I want to get your update on your boat.
Oh, doors got built. Kind of looking at some other things. I don't think I like the way the doors are. They're a
No.
little too flimsy for me. I think I'm gonna put another brace in, kind of halfway up the
So walk
stuff.
us through what you did, because for if I'm sure everyone's heard, but we all are buying the Beavertail Final Attack layout boats.
Yeah, so basically I went on Amazon and I'm not gonna say the name of the thing 'cause I'm gonna butcher it. But it's basically to put like a top on a boat, like you got your canopy top. It's the
Mhm.
brackets and all that to put in. Order that, got them in. So I decided I was like, I'm gonna build my doors for the boat, and I'm gonna build them out of PVC just because there. One, it's cheap, and two, I can move it around however I want. A lot of people
Yeah,
use
you
the
can make it the way you
con.
want.
They use a conduit. Well, I want to bend mine up this way and down this way and do this, and you can't do that with the conduit.
Yeah.
So, um, those are done. I painted them today.
Did you get
I don't think.
the swivel brackets for the hinges or whatever you want to call them? Did you
Yeah,
get those
the
done?
heat just came in today. Yeah, right after we got the phone, they did. So, I didn't put them on yet, but I will do that. I got to go to work for 3 days, so I will do that Monday when I get home. Take some more pictures, but I did paint them today, the PVC stuff. So I'm excited. I might change it up and put the H braces on. I might wait until I get to do a couple things with it to make sure that's how I like the door set up, and then put the braces on at the end at when I finally decide what I like. That way I'm not having to buy so much PVC and glue and couplings and all sorts of things. But um
Yeah.
if anybody does, we'll start putting some pictures up on our social media. But if anybody needs measurements or anything like that, I have them written down. So
Yeah. So that's exciting news. I'm ready to see what it comes out to. Um,
yeah,
and if you have one of these, they do make a blind. It's just it's a pretty penny. And I've seen mixed reviews. Nothing against them, but I've seen mixed reviews of some people really like them, some people really hate them, and different reasons that people really like them, really hate them. But this is the route we decide to take, and we may change our mind and buy blinds next year. But for right now, we're
yeah,
just going to try.
yep. So next thing is the motor.
Yeah,
Probably
we're
this
going back and
weekend.
forth on that. Have you
I'm gonna
decided
go.
what exactly you're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Harbor Freight one, that Predator. But
No, I meant like the
the
kit though.
lower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the wood duck. I'm gonna spend the extra money. Um, I did find out that the other one, I'm not gonna say the brand, but it is a wire driven. It's not a piston,
That changes things.
and you got to keep it in the water to keep it cooled down. So, um, the the wood duck is a piston driven. It's about twice as much, but at least I don't have to worry about something about that part. I mean, it's a half a dozen, one half dozen another. I've talked to some of the guys that run it, and they were like, if he could afford it, spend the extra money.
I'm glad you got some insight on it because that's what I've been trying to read everything I can in between the two or three different options of what to do. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for them, ready to see what it looks like and ready to get them out and running.
yeah,
We're gonna have a little, like I said, we're gonna get us some little hunting jackets, make our own little boat gang.
yeah. I'm excited,
But well, anything else you want to cover tonight?
and I think we did. I mean, hope y'all didn't
Well,
think
Jeff,
we were just rambling tonight because we weren't. I mean, we just like talking about the out of state stuff. We have fun in Nebraska,
yeah.
so
Um, well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. Let us know. Like I said, we've done this. We're not big time, but we are the working man winging it on duties, and that's kind of all this came from and out of. And we've learned our lessons over time, and we're getting a little better every year. But we this is the work that we're doing, and it's not last minute. I mean, it's all year round for us. I mean, This is in the middle of the process. This isn't us just now starting the process. I mean, like I said, we've been talking about it since we left last year, and we were talking about last year when we left the place before the year before. I mean, it's if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna take and drive halfway across the country and do stuff like that, like we are, and spending all this money and this time and effort, it's not a hey, in 2 weeks you want to go here kind of thing. And it may
Yeah.
be for you, yeah, but for us, we want to get the most out of what we put in it.
Yep.
Put in a good amount and try to get the best we can out of it. So, but yeah, we'll post some pictures of the boat process. I may try to put up some stuff of the trailer process because that's coming along.
Yeah, you
Addison's
got a
got a
tag and everything. It's ready to rock and
yeah, I
roll.
just got to paint it. Man, this last weekend, it was so stupid windy. And I worked. And then this weekend, we've got D now at church. So I'll be doing that all weekend. So hopefully next weekend, I'll have the painting done and be ready to go on that. And then I can start with, I don't want to do too much until I get the actual boat in hand for that part.
Yeah.
But because that'll have to go with me at least part of a leg for the trip next year to meet up,
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be a hunting rig for me as well. It's going to be the, travel rig for my family vacations for us going camping and hitting all the national parks. And then the most of the time, it's going to be a hunting rig for me. Hauling that boat, hauling decoys. Like I want to get everything and see how everything goes, with the motor mounted on there, with everything, how everything works. So
Yeah.
as that process goes forward, I'll make sure and try to get you some updates and post those for everyone who's interested in it. So yeah, painting it is next, and then rewiring everything is the next step. And then after that, then I'll get into the structure of how I want to build the removable frames and uprights and stuff because I'm going to have it where I can put kayaks on it and also this new boat, this new sneak boat. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a full rig by the time I'm done with it, I think.
Yeah. It's going to
So,
be nice.
well, appreciate everyone tuning in again this week. If you haven't yet, just make sure and go look us up on Waterfowl on all social medias. Give us a follow. Stay up to date. We are on several more platforms now. So if you know anyone that was trying to find us for them, they could. We're on about 4 or 5 new platforms. I don't have those off the top of my head. But since we made the Riverside migration, still going through some growing pains with that. I finally figured out how to get video uploaded to Spotify. It is a little delayed. It does not come out as soon as the episode releases. So if you're someone that likes to watch it on Spotify first thing in the morning, I apologize. It might be the next evening, Friday night. So if you want to wait, go ahead. But I should have all the videos on Spotify uploaded by Friday nights. But yeah, go give us a follow. Shoot a 5-star review and let me know, and we'll get you a sticker in the mail. If you give us a 5-star review, just screenshot, let me know who you are and where it was, and we'll get you a sticker in the mail. And we appreciate everyone following, liking, subscribing, and just keep letting everyone know about us. Until next time, we'll see y'all next week.